Hello and welcome to a new video of FMTTM Future of Finance. In today's video, we're going to be discussing the top 5 stocks for 2023 according to Mr. Warren Buffett. It is an exciting time to take a closer look at the stock portfolios of some of the world's best investors, such as Mr. Warren Buffett. In this video, we will be analyzing Warren Buffett's top 5 stock holdings leading into 2023 and breaking down the reasons why he holds each one. Before we get into today's video, I just want to take a moment to remind you that investing always carries some level of risk, and it's important to do your own research and consult with a financial professional before making any investment decisions. This video is for educational purposes only and is not intended to be investment advice. However, with many newcomers eager to get into the stock market in 2023 after a 20% drop last year, looking into the portfolios of these super investors can give you a great starting point for your own research. We will be focusing on Berkshire Hathaway's top 5 holdings in this video post, but it's worth remembering that this portfolio is actually 49 stocks long. These 5 businesses are not all of Berkshire Hathaway stocks, as they only account for 75% of the portfolio. Additionally, it's important to remember that not all of the stocks in the Berkshire Hathaway portfolio are chosen by Warren Buffett himself, as Ted and Todd also select stocks for the company. However, it is safe to say that the top 5 stocks are all Buffett picks. Another thing to keep in mind is that because of Berkshire Hathaway's size, they can only invest in the world's largest companies in order to actually make a significant impact on their portfolio. As a result, these 5 stocks may not be the highest returning stocks, but they are the best stocks for Berkshire Hathaway's position. With that in mind, let's dive into the countdown of Warren Buffett's top 5 stock. Coming in at number 5 on Warren Buffett's top 5 stock holdings at the beginning of 2023 is American Express. The company makes up 6.91% of the Berkshire portfolio. Buffett first bought a stake in American Express back in 1994 and hasn't touched the position since 1998. This may seem unusual, but it is not uncommon for Buffett, as his investment strategy is focused on buying great businesses and holding them for as long as possible. So far, he hasn't found a reason to sell his stake. Overall, Buffett paid $1.3 billion to form the position, and it's a stake that today is worth about $20 billion. American Express is one of the world's big 3 card providers, alongside Visa and MasterCard. The company makes money in a few different ways. In Q3 2022, their biggest revenue chunk by far was their U.S. consumer credit card business, which includes fees and interests collected on consumer cards in the U.S. This was followed by the commercial credit card business, again, fees and interest but for business cards. Next, income from international credit cards, and lastly by merchant fees, which are the fees merchants have to pay American Express to accept American Express cards. Now moving on to Buffett's 4th largest position heading into 2023, we have Coca-Cola, making up 7.57% of his portfolio. This is a classic Warren Buffett stock, and it's no surprise that he has a long-term investment in the company. Buffett first bought Coca-Cola back in 1988 after the sudden stock market crash of 1987 plunged Coca-Cola's stock price by about 25%. Buffett then added to the position in 1989 and again in 1994, and as of 1995, Berkshire Hathaway had invested $1.3 billion total. Like his position in American Express, Buffett to this day still holds the shares, which are now worth over $22 billion. This doesn't even include dividends. The thing to take away from Buffett's investment in Coca-Cola is just how important moats are. This is the single biggest reason why Buffett has never had to sell the stock, and it's why the shares are worth so much today. Coca-Cola has a massive brand moat, and Buffett identified this back in 1988. When people are presented with a range of different drinks, most people choose Coke. This fact has helped Coke steadily raise sales volumes and prices over time to keep their business growing to this day. Now moving on to Buffett's 3rd largest position heading into 2023, we have Chevron. Chevron is the 7th largest oil company in the world by revenue, and unlike American Express and Coca-Cola, it is actually more of a recent addition to the Berkshire portfolio. Buffett started buying Chevron in Q3 of 2020, but notably in Q1 of 2022, he bought an additional 121 million shares, which at the time catapulted the company to Berkshire's 4th largest holding. I'm certainly no expert when it comes to oil stocks, but I think this one is quite simply Buffett just holding a high-quality business and buying it at a fair price. Buffett said himself back in 2007, If we're in an oil stock, it's because we think it offers a lot of value at this price. So, it does not mean that we think the price of oil is going up. He could just buy oil futures if he thought oil was going up, which he actually did once. It's interesting to note that since Buffett started buying both Chevron and Occidental, the supply of oil has been constrained, and the demand has risen, which has helped oil prices stay quite elevated over the last year or so. However, it's worth noting that the oil price movement is not the primary factor that entices Buffett to buy. He wants strong economics at the underlying business, regardless of what oil prices are doing. Moving on to Warren Buffett's second largest holding, we have Bank of America. This is one of only 2 double-digit positions in the Berkshire portfolio, occupying 10.3%. Buffett first bought Bank of America stock back in 2011, but it became a regular top 10 holding after Q3 of 2017 when he exercised his stock warrants he acquired back in 2011, allowing him to buy 700 million shares of common stock at 7.14 cents per share. Today, that equity position is now swelled in size to over 1 billion shares and is now worth $30 billion. Buffett began investing in Bank of America in 2011, purchasing $5 billion of preferred stock plus warrants to buy 700 million common shares at a time when many investors were worried about the bank's capital needs. At the time, many banks were still dealing with the aftermath of the financial crisis and some were facing increased regulation. Investors weren't very optimistic, but it is often in these dark times where amazing long-term opportunities can be found if you genuinely understand the business you're looking at and the industry that it falls in. Now moving on to Buffett's largest position heading into 2023, we have by a long way Apple. As of right now the stock takes up a massive 41% of the Berkshire Hathaway stock portfolio, literally 4 times bigger than the Bank of America holding. This has to go down as one of Warren Buffett's best ever investments, maybe not by a percentage but certainly by sheer dollar size of the return. And this is also a relatively recent position from Buffett as well. We're going back to Q1 2016 when Buffett first bought into Apple. He bought 39 million shares, but it was Q4 of 2016, then all of 2017 and the start of 2018 where he really sunk a lot of money into the company. Across that time period, he bought about 950 million Apple shares at a total cost of around $36 billion. The original $36 billion investment has now snowballed to a value of $120 billion. But interestingly, investors are once again getting a little bit nervous about Apple because over the last 12 months the stock has fallen about 30%. So overall, these are Warren Buffett's 5 biggest positions heading into 2023. Thanks for watching. Invest safe, and if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. And if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover in the future, let us know in the comments.